to Behind the Lens with Yolanda Hill Photography. Today we have Chrissy with Fairytale Pet Care from West Palm Beach, and she's going to tell us a little bit about her business and what exactly she does. Obviously, it has to do with pets, right, Chrissy?
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on.
I'm so excited to have you.
Yeah.
So I met her at a networking event. So we've talked about how it's important in our industry to go to network and meet new people.
Yes.
This is how I met her. I had no idea this was even a service. I think she shocked a few of us because we were all like, "You do what?"
It's very common. Yeah. So I run Fairytale Pet Care West Palm Beach, which is a wedding pet care service for brides and grooms who are getting married really anywhere. We've got a bunch of different locations, but for me, it's the South Florida area. And we really cater each package to be specific to each bride and groom.
That's amazing. That's
but
great.
A lot of people think if I say we're Fairytale Pet Care, wedding pet care, then they think the dogs are getting married.
I mean, that could be something too, and I have seen that. That's a whole other podcast I would have to do. But I do want to go, a little back, and I do want to find out a little bit about how you actually got into it, a little bit about yourself, and how you ended up being part of the Fairytale Pet Care.
Sure.
So tell us your story.
I've always had pets in my family. I have two brothers, but I grew up with a bunch of fur siblings because I had cats and dogs and bunnies, and I'd catch a goldfish or a lizard or something.
See, we have things in common. That is so me. I would always have some kind of animal, still do. I love animals, and I'm the person that stops if there's a turtle on the road or a bird, or that's me.
Right. So that really fueled my passion for animals. My family is really, really into loving animals. And then I actually went and got my degree in wildlife management and conservation.
Okay.
And so now I'm a wildlife educator when I'm not doing wedding day pet care.
Nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Wildlife and domestic animals, and that really led me down that path. And then actually what started it all is I'm a foster mom to a bunch of kittens. And
just kittens, or do you dabble into other animals, or right now just kittens?
Right now just kittens.
Okay.
Which keeps my hands pretty full.
Yeah.
But
now, is that
kittens.
hard? Because I've always thought of doing some sort of foster, but I just don't know if I could give them back.
It took me probably about 12 kittens of just crying when I gave them back to really get past that. But seeing them with their forever family really does make it worth it.
Yeah, I guess if you find the right family for that pet, and it's like a happy ending kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I could see that.
Yeah.
Very cool. So so tell us exactly how you did get into it, as far as how you started your business, or just any details that you have about it.
Sure. So I actually fostered these two kittens, and then my brother wanted them for his wedding.
Okay.
And he lives in California. So I adopted them for him.
Okay.
And then flew them across the United States to California and had them as flower girls in his wedding.
That is so cute.
And once I did that, a bunch of my friends sent me a TikTok about this golden retriever running down the aisle. And I realized that's really just my dream. That was my dream come true. So I started with Fairytale Pet Care over in Tampa before I really took what they taught me and came over here and established Fairytale Pet Care West Palm Beach.
That's fantastic. Now, how do you prep how do brides find you? Maybe it's more like referrals, somebody uses you and they're like, oh, this, and
Yes.
do you only do weddings just for the weddings, or do you pet care normal for just if I go away, can I drop my dogs off?
Well, we focus mainly on events.
Okay.
So we don't really do other pet care unless it is surrounding to those events. But how they find us would be from, you had Married in Palm Beach last week.
That's right.
So they can find us on there. We also have just word of mouth is amazing.
Huge,
to have word of mouth. And then vendors and venues as well.
And venues. Yeah,
Yes.
Those are all the key points, which again, it falls into the networking thing, which, we tell everybody that's starting off in any of our, DJs, florists, whatever, networking is huge. So how do you prep to get the dogs? Or what do you do? When you first, I'm your client, I have a dog, what do you tell me?
I say book Fairytale Pet Care.
Perfect. All right, so I signed. What's next?
They fill out an inquiry form, which just tells us a little bit about the details of their day, what they know, and then a little bit about their pet as well, and then I'll contact them. So I'll give them a phone call or an email to find a little bit more about them. And then we'll usually schedule a meet and greet, and that's where the magic happens.
And you meet the actual animal. Because it's not just dogs, like you said, it's cats. Is there any, like, unusual animal that you've ever had to deal with, or just strictly cats and dogs?
It's usually cats and dogs. I'm the one to ask if you want another animal in your wedding. I am all for it. Yeah. I've prepped many times for that. That's a dream come true for me.
Yeah, that would be interesting,
But if people wanted even like rabbits, snakes, I can handle snakes. A lot of people are no on snakes. I can do snakes. I can do guinea pigs, whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's pretty cool. So now we, you know, like I said, you signed and you start talking to them. What do you, like, suggest or tell your couple?
So we give each client a user interface. It's online. It's a service that we have. And they can really put a crazy amount of detail into that, so you don't have to worry about leaving something out in a phone call. So for each pet, they each have their own page, which talks about their vet records, their vaccines, if they like certain things or they dislike certain things.
Yeah.
I had a dog one time who really didn't like the sound of jingling keys.
Okay.
And that can make or break a wedding if somebody has keys.
Well, then he freaks out and it's over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we really put together all of that so we have all the details the day of. Yeah. And then when it comes time for the wedding, we have everything all in one place, and the couple can look back and see if they left anything out, which alleviates any kind of stress they might have.
Fantastic. Yeah. Now, when do you actually start taking care of the animal? Is it the day of or the night before?
That's customizable too.
Depends?
Yeah, everything we have is completely customizable. Some pet parents like to have us there maybe for the rehearsal dinner so we can get to know the dog a little bit.
Well, especially I guess if, you know, he or she is walking down the aisle, that's probably a very important time to get them to understand, okay, you'll be walking down.
Yes.
This is your job to do tomorrow.
I love when they decide
do you
to
walk
do rehearsal
with
care.
them down, or how does that work?
Again, customizable to them. So I have been in many people's weddings walking their pets down the aisle, but we also work with family members, or we work with
See, I would have thought, like, I wouldn't know as a
girls.
photographer you're walking the dog down. I'm like, oh, that's cousin Chrissy walking down, not knowing that, you know, they actually hired you.
Yeah, which is part of the fun.
Now, have you ever had an animal that was really hard to deal with? That, like, and what do you do?
That's more common than you would think that people ask us that.
Yeah.
I think as a pet parent myself, I want my dog to be perfect.
Yeah.
I don't want him to act out in any way, even like human children. You want your kids to behave in a perfect way.
Yeah.
So we have many concerns that pet parents have, but we've never really had a bad experience. Good. Even dogs that are jumping up or that might really want to lick everybody's faces. Yeah. We have different tricks up our sleeves to really help them with that, and
calm down.
Treats will do a lot.
Treats definitely do a lot. I agree with that. What advice would you give couples considering to use your services, and if there's any safety tips or anything that you feel they should know?
Absolutely. I would say to check us out on social media, check us out on our website. We have an entire FAQ page about if you're unsure about having your pet in your wedding, what that might look like. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be that your pet has to go down the aisle.
Okay.
Even as a photographer, I'm sure you know, like just having somebody else there that knows the pet and can take them away from certain shots, or maybe introduce them into different scenarios. Yeah. It really helps to have somebody there.
Because sometimes they don't go necessarily down the aisle. I've had them where they just come into the family portraits,
right? Or
just the couples by themselves. You know, after their ceremony, they bring the pets and we just take photos, which is totally fine.
Yeah.
Which that kind of, I think I might have not missed, or should I say, didn't ask this, but you know, dogs sometimes, like my one English pointer, he's a little more like, I don't know, curious and not sure about people. Do you meet with them, and how long do you spend time with them? Because it takes him a little bit to be like, who is this person?
Right. So we actually encourage a lot of our clients to have a free meet and greet, where I will come into your space and I will come into their space, so that they don't have to go to a new area and meet a new person. Yeah. If I come into your space, it's already established. She's not going to be a stranger anymore. My parents know her. She's given me treats. She's given me attention. So the next time I do go and pick them up, if it is from the same space, then they already have that interaction with me that's positive, and they're ready to go for the day.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, have you had any issues at any like venues that have given you any problems with you having the animals there, or is that something I guess the couple would find out first before bringing you in with the pets?
That's actually something that I would love to talk about that actually, because a lot of couples a lot of couples want to have their pets in their wedding day, and the venues say we're not pet friendly, and so initially that just takes it right off the table.
It's done.
But since, I mean, we're licensed, bonded, insured, we have everything. So as a venue or as a vendor, we have our insurance. We can go to them. We can say we're going to have the dog with us the whole time. We have control of them, and it actually makes their lives a lot easier to have us the whole day.
Yeah.
And it ends up being the venue's like favorite part.
Okay.
Of having us. So then we'll get on their vendor list, and they understand even if they don't stay the night in, if say it's a hotel, we can still be there on property, and that couple can still have their fur baby there.
And then
for
you
their
just take
perfect
them
day.
back home or wherever the couple or somebody's house or something, so that they can continue to take care of the dog. I actually have a friend that we were just talking about it, and she mentioned that she didn't know there was such a service.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because I told her I was coming on the podcast. She goes, I wanted my dogs at my wedding, and I had nobody to take care of them, so I had to leave them home with a babysitter, and I was devastated.
Right.
So I was like, well, guess what? There is such a service. She's like, I wish I would have known that. I think she got married like 5 or 6 years ago. I don't know. Is this something new, or has this been around
It's
for a
newer.
while?
Fairytale as a company is about 7-8 years old.
Okay.
But West Palm Beach has only been around for the past year or two. So this kind of location here, it's up and coming, and I think dogs and pets and weddings in general is huge.
It is huge. Like I, obviously do a lot of weddings, and I personally love when they're there. A lot of people don't like when they're there. I don't mind them there. I think it's super cute. I mean, of course, if they're behaved, I don't want the dog, which is where you would come into play here, going crazy during ceremony or anything like that. But honestly, in all the ones that I've had, they're pretty good, and they kind of stay, and they're, and I think the parents know whether you can or not bring the dogs. Like, I personally probably would not bring Blue unless I had somebody like you, because he gets so excited. He would just be running all over the place, and it would just be like a huge distraction to me. So that him, I would probably say, oh, you know what? I'm just going to bring him for my portraits, and that's it, but not the ceremony. But that would be like what I would do with my dogs anyways. Is there anything else that you think that, listeners should know hiring you, or any advice that you have when hiring you?
Yeah, even just talking on what you were just talking about, even if you don't want them for the entire day, having us there allows them to really cater to each pet's individual needs. So if they are a really high energy puppy, we can take them and run them around and really watch their energy levels so that they're not too tired in the pictures, but that they're really wound down and get to smell every corner of this new location.
Yeah.
But if you have an older dog, I mean, we've had many of older dogs. We actually had one older dog who didn't walk so well, but they wanted him in the wedding, so they put him in a remote-controlled vehicle down the aisle.
Oh, my goodness.
Which was so sweet.
That is so cute.
And I have some really cute pictures I'll share about that.
Please do, because it's so cute. You guys actually really follow her, because, I don't know, she's great at this whole Instagram, TikTok, whatever. I'm awful at it. And it caught my eye. Like, it really did. Like, she puts all these puppies and, like, her, and they're, like, everybody's so happy. And I'm just like, this is the cutest thing ever. So
Thank
I'm like,
you.
good job. Good job on that, because it really does catch an eye, like, for viewers to look at your stuff. Like, that's how I kind of found her. Well, not found her. I found her at the networking event, but I was like, oh, this is really cool. Let me bring her into my podcast.
It is relatively new. And I think even if you just had your putt there for just a few minutes. Some people prefer to just have them for cocktail hours so that the guests can interact with them, because you have so many people coming in from out of town that see pictures of your dog, and then to have them there at the wedding.
They're part of the family.
They are so excited to see them. And don't worry, it doesn't upstage the bride. We make sure of that. People are worried about that. It does not. But having them for just a little bit of time really, really helps. And then there's other things that you can include at the wedding to tastefully include your dog as well. Like I brought this little drink stir.
Oh, that is so cute.
So
you guys can see it, but look how cute.
Yeah,
that's
a little
adorable.
Drink stir. Or we've had different couples have like a treat bar that you can have the human treats to take home at night, but then, other guests have their dogs at home that they want to bring.
So wait, that's for actual humans, not for dogs?
That one is for dogs.
Oh, that one's for dogs?
Yeah.
Okay, because I was getting ready to eat it.
Yeah. Those are little treats that you can have bags and take it home, and then their dogs can see.
Got it. Now I understood. I was like,
yeah.
Because I thought it was like for the guests to eat it, but it's a dog bone, but I get it. I understand now.
Mm-hmm.
That is adorable. That is something, unique to have at a wedding.
Yeah.
Now you say you do other events as well, so you pretty much do anything, not just weddings.
Yeah, we're up for any challenge.
All right.
So we do wedding pet care.
Has there been any one that was like a challenge that like you're like, that was a really hard event to do, or anything like that? Or for the most part, everything's kind of about the same flow?
It's about the same. I mean, no two dogs are going to be alike.
Yeah.
Cats are different.
Cats are definitely, let's talk about a little bit about the cats.
Sure, sure.
I have dogs. I don't really have cats. Have I owned a cat before? Yes. So they're definitely different.
Yeah.
How do you handle cats?
Yeah, that I have 2 cats at home and their personalities are split.
Yeah.
So I have one cat that would be absolutely thrilled to be in the wedding, and the other one would have to be in a harness and maybe a stroller.
Yeah.
So we have a few ways, and that's where the meet and greet comes into play to really, to be honest.
Yeah,
because if you do have any particulars about your pet, people are worried to tell us, hey, he's a jumper. Hey, he whines during the ceremony, and I think that's one of the most important parts is to be honest with us.
Yeah.
It's not going to scare us away.
No.
But if you have a cat you want in the ceremony, don't be embarrassed about that. Have me come over. I love cats. I love dogs. They are my way of life.
Yeah.
So I'd love to meet them, but also just to see how they can be incorporated into
now, do
your
you
ceremony.
say us? Is it just you, or do you have like a team?
It's me, but I have handlers as well. So each individual pet has their own handler for the day.
Cool.
So if you have 4 dogs, you'll get 4 handlers. If you only have 1 dog, only have 1 handler, with the exception of if we do our Dog of Honor videography.
Which is?
It's a video service from the dog's point of view.
Oh my goodness.
So you can have all of the memories captured right from nose level, starting from the beginning of the day when they get picked up, all the way through getting ready. That is the cutest thing
to
the end of dancing.
That would be really cute.
Yeah.
So you strap on like something on them and...
I'm not going to ruin the magic.
Okay.
But yeah,
you know what? Maybe she'll give us a little video and you guys can see it, when the podcast gets on YouTube and you guys can actually see a little, I guess, dog's view through the wedding. That would be cool to insert. I didn't know you did that.
You can add that on to any package. We also have like a shorter social media package that we offer now, where we just give you like a few candid clips from throughout the day so that you can put them on your social media like immediately after the wedding.
That's adorable too.
Yeah.
So that's exciting for the brides and grooms, because I know they get really excited when my videographer gives them like a teaser or even my pictures.
Sneak peeks.
Sneak peeks are very, very important, and it's very exciting because you're still on the high of your wedding, and then like a few days later, how long do you normally try to give them the teasers, I call them?
If it's just a normal wedding, I still take photos throughout the day, but if we're doing that, social media package is brand new.
Okay.
So we're trying to get that to them as soon as possible. I think the turnaround is usually 72 hours or less.
So yeah, still within that period of everybody's very excited.
Yeah.
Brides and grooms normally have a day of just, I would think, just
rest,
taking it all in, and that's perfect time, and then you come in with a cute video.
Yes.
And that is very exciting. I know I would be very excited to see that, or any of like our pictures or videos that we post. I know that's huge now. It's actually happening in photography and videography, where somebody follows you and they just take content of the whole behind the scenes of the wedding, which is something new, and we just talked about that, and it's actually pretty cool. Because if you do think about it, videographers are there to capture the very important moments of the day. So yes, they capture a lot of stuff, but maybe things that he's not focused on, that they call them what, something content, video content. No, there's a word for it.
Content creator.
That's it.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm like, it's something content that captures like all the other stuff that my videographers might not be able to capture, or he's not, focused on that, which is pretty cool. I've seen a few things on it, and that's pretty much the same concept of what you're doing, but with a puppy or a dog or A cat would be interesting.
And it is. There's some very chill
The cat's view might be a little interesting.
It's precious. No matter what the pet is, it's so precious. And since we are kind of behind the scenes a lot of the time, since we're not forefront of bride and groom, we are a little bit behind so that we can take those pictures and you can see later, what has he been doing all day? He had a fantastic day. He's exhausted. What did he do? So we get those really cool shots of dogs sleeping next to the wedding shoes or watching mom and dad take photos outside of the window, and
cute.
It's really cute.
Those are adorable. Yeah, like that would be cool to have throughout the day for photographers. Like, you know, we do have them there sometimes, but not a lot because the brides and grooms really can't, you know, focus on that. So having somebody there to just bring him in to do those cute ones with the shoes, I've never done that because I haven't had a dog there at that moment, but that would be so adorable to do. Tell us a little bit of any stories that you might want to share, heartfelt, you know, moments that you've had to deal with.
Sure. Yeah, there's quite a few of them, but right off the bat, we did have a bride not too long ago who was very close with her mom. Unfortunately, her mom passed away before the wedding, and so the bride adopted her mom's dog and included her dog in her getting ready process.
That kind of gives me chills because that's very special.
Yeah. So there was not a dry eye in the place, but we had that dog getting ready with her, next to her, zipping up her dress, and it really was a really great way to.
So it's like having mom there, but not really. But the dog's special to mom. I understand that. So is there any other stories that you can share with us?
We had a couple that did not think that they could bring their dog because their venue did say, we are not pet friendly. Their coworkers at their job kind of went behind the scenes and hired us, and we went to the venue and made it possible for that dog to be there. So we did surprise the bride and groom on their day.
I would be so happy, and I would love my coworkers if they did that.
I thought it was an amazing gift.
Anybody, like
such an amazing gift. Cool.
So basically, out of that little story that you just said, venue was against it, but just because you specialize in this and you can not convince them, but you know, I guess they feel more comfortable because that's what you do.
Yes.
That the venue felt like, okay, we can accept this because this person is literally in charge of this dog or cat, whatever it was, and they felt good about it and let you do it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
And just like you were saying, as a photographer, I mean, you're at so many weddings. People don't know this is a service that they can have.
Yeah.
So venues don't know. A lot of vendors don't know about it. And when they find out about it, they're thrilled too. Yeah. It makes your life so much easier to not have to wind a leash around your ankle taking pictures.
Well, we've had it where like they haven't had, you know, anybody taking care of the dog. And it's being like moved from here to there to that person to this person. I've had my second shooter hold a dog. I've had my assistant hold a dog because, you know, we're there to make the day run smooth for the bride and grooms, but it would be helpful if we have somebody like you where my assistant or my second shooter or anybody is not taking care of the dog. I mean, we don't mind, but you know, we're there to do another job.
We specialize in the service. That's why it was created. So many people were trying to have grandma watch the dog while also be in wedding photos.
It's hard because grandma wants to enjoy the wedding. And
of course.
As much as she loves the dog, like, you're there to enjoy the wedding.
Yeah, I want grandma to enjoy the wedding too.
Yeah. So Chrissy, tell us a little bit about what something like this might cost. Just like a little ballpark of like, if I'm a bride, what am I looking into for pet care?
Sure. So we typically start our packages at 3 hours, and that is a start of about $500. That includes transportation, includes your handler, includes all that little fun video footage that I was talking about.
Nice.
And then they can add on from there, and that can include our videography package. That can even range to having them for a longer time or taking them to a different venue if they wanted, if they have like a getting ready location and then a ceremony location, all the way back to taking them home. And they can even add additional pet care before or after, rehearsal care, anything like that.
What's the longest that you've had a dog for?
Well, I haven't had it yet, but I did just have a bride book me for an entire weekend, so Thursday through Sunday at a destination wedding.
So you are there through the whole thing.
That's
crazy and amazing at the same time.
Yes.
That would have been my friend because she literally wanted her dogs there. Like, I think it was like 4 days. From what she told me, and she's like, that's what she needed, was like 4 days.
And that's another thing, is her guests really wanted to see her dog since it is a destination wedding.
Yeah.
So they really wanted to get to hang out with their, I think it's a golden retriever.
Okay.
So cute.
I'm sure.
They wanted to hang out with her, but also she didn't want to have to hire a different person every day to take care of her pet on like a rover. So she
Yeah.
wanted somebody that would stay with them the whole time through the ceremony, through
I mean, I would love
brunch.
that because I'm, just when I go away and I have somebody take care of my dogs, not that I don't trust them, but like I would like to be around them and still be able to go, do my thing.
Right.
So if I could ever find somebody to do that, I mean, obviously you're for weddings, but just in general, it's a great service just to have for like vacations. There, see, I just started another business for you.
Right.
You could just go and vacation with the dogs. Like, why not? Because I always worry about them.
Right.
I don't know what's going on and I miss them. They're my kids.
Exactly.
So, something else that you can venture into now, vacations.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So anything else that you would want to let our viewers know about, your business and any details that they should know?
Well, yeah, we do specialize in weddings, but we do birthday parties, bat mitzvahs. We do holiday cards are one that people don't think about. They want their dogs to be in every moment. They want to send them on the holiday card.
Yeah.
But then a lot of photographers, again, don't want to be the one to hold the dog off to the side, or maybe the dog's going crazy.
It is, and I've had that.
Exciting.
Yeah, it's hard.
So I collaborate
Or I've had
a
people
lot
say, "Oh, I wish I could bring my dogs, but I don't have anybody."
Right.
to take care of them.
Yeah.
And, as much as I would love to, I'm photographing, so I can't do both, unfortunately. So a lot of them have backed out. So that's a good service to
It's a specialized service.
specialize.
Yeah. I'll partner with different photographers every once in a while and have, okay, these 3 days will be our pet days.
Have you ever thought of doing like, I know some photographers, I know one of my friend photographers, she just strictly does dogs. Like that would be great for her to have either like all day, because they do mini sessions and it's like all day with dogs. That would be like perfect for that scenario. So that's something maybe you look into, like other photographers for yourself to like expand on your business.
Right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So that's something that a lot of
Didn't
people
even think
don't
of that.
about.
Didn't even think of that.
Now it's coming up. It's that season.
It is that season.
Yeah, we're
I'm
booking
just
right
starting
about
my
now.
fall minis coming up, and I know I haven't had too many ask about dogs in the fall ones. It's mostly my Christmas ones is when people start asking about bringing their dogs, and it is very helpful to have somebody there. I think it was last year or the year before, the dog was running around. It was a fenced-in yard, but that wasn't the problem. The problem was that he kept getting in my shots because he kept running in and out, or he peed on one of my items, which, other
but
people need to use them as well. So,
Right.
how to get rid of that item. But that would be a great time to have you there to, like, take care of that situation. So
Yeah.
I'll have to think about that. If I see anybody, I have them fill out like a little questionnaire. And if I see anything like that, maybe I'll let them know. Be like,
Awesome.
hey, by the way.
Yeah, I come with all sorts of
And it's
tricks
one
up my
day,
sleeve.
so
I've got bandanas, like themed bandanas. I've got like little Santa hats and little outfits they can wear.
what a great job you have.
I think that every day.
Like it's
it really is
fun.
dream come
like,
true.
I mean, if you love animals, obviously if you don't like animals, then that is not the job for you. But I love animals, so I can imagine going to work and just like playing with a dog or a cat all day.
Yeah, and it is a commitment. There is a little bit of a backstory that you really do have to have a passion for them, and you have to understand the wedding industry and the tips and tricks that come with that as well.
Yeah. And I'm sure you learn as you go as well. Like everything, every wedding for me, I still learn. Like everybody, every wedding is different. Every bride and groom is different. Bridal party is different. So every time that I do a wedding, I always learn something new, and then I try to incorporate it into like my next ones.
Yeah.
So I'm sure it's kind of the same thing. Like you're amazing at what you do, but I'm sure there's things that as you go, you learn something like, oh, now I can do this different. So I'm sure you run into that as well.
Yes, and I think a lot of couples don't realize how important it is if they do want to have their dog in their wedding day to hire somebody instead of just having a family or friends. We've actually had couples reach out on their honeymoon and say, I just can't believe how well that turned out. How did you do that? Are you a dog trainer? Did you work magic on my dog?
The
He never
dog
is
whisperer.
like that. Yeah. So
I'm sure
it's
you've
incredible.
gotten that before, right?
Yes.
The dog whisperer, yeah.
Yes. He never behaves like this at home. How'd you get him to do that? So you can see it in the photos.
They are
how
so
exciting
cute.
they are.
Yeah. And she's going to definitely share some stuff and some videos so that you guys can see a little bit of the behind the scenes, because I'm actually really excited for that, not going to lie.
Yeah, I'll include quite a few of what we've kind of talked about here, but there's so much you can do with just having your pet at your wedding.
Yeah. And has anybody ever given you like a hard time, like, at a venue or something? I know you said, some of them don't allow it, but like anybody like just been not nice, and they're like, oh, what are you doing here with this dog or anything
We
like
have.
that?
I think in every walk of life, you're going to have the naysayers through everything. But we have, even with some of the vendors, some of the photographers.
I was going to ask. I didn't want to touch, and I didn't want to say anything.
Unfortunately, I will say,
specifically.
some of the photographers are not that excited to have the dogs there.
But why, guys?
They relinquish that once they realize that
They're
then
so
we can
cute.
take them away,
Yeah.
and that they can be in some shots, and then it's in their. If you put that on your website, if you have a dog in wedding photos, people are instantly just like,
There's
oh
a
my God,
lot
that's
of
amazing.
animal lovers, a lot of dog lovers. So yeah, I'm a person that doesn't mind it, but I understand not everybody's like me and not everybody loves animals. But at the same time, you're there for the bride and groom, and that's what they want,
Right.
and you have to just make it magical, whether you like it or you don't. Like, it's their day.
Yeah.
So, outside of what everybody thinks whether the dog should be or shouldn't be there, because I've heard that, like, who would have their dog at their wedding? That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yes and no. So it's their dog. They're part of the family, and why not?
Yeah.
And especially if you have somebody like you to take care of it.
People can't picture their perfect day without their perfect child,
Yeah.
their pet at home.
Like, I wouldn't necessarily, like I said, bring my dogs to, my wedding, not because I don't love them or don't want them there. It's just because I was thinking, like, the chaotic
right.
part of it.
Right.
And, like, I'm like, I don't want to deal with that on my wedding day. Like, oh my gosh, no. But makes sense when you have somebody that's just specifically for that, and then everything just flows right, and you get both worlds.
You sound like so many brides that I talk to. They're like, no way, he's too crazy. He jumps, he barks, and every wedding is
but
different.
That's what makes us unique. Like, obviously a photographer,
Yeah.
and I always get my fiance hates photos, and I'm like, but he'll like him with me.
Right.
And because I know my tricks, like, your tricks, it's part of our industry, is what we learn. This is what makes us unique in what we do.
Yeah.
So, I really appreciate you coming in.
Absolutely.
I
Thanks
really
for having
enjoyed
me.
you. We cannot wait to see these images and these videos. So stay tuned, and I will catch you guys at the next one.
So much.